My grandfather died at 58, I believe,
Oh, okay.
and I'm 61.
Mm-hmm.
So every day I get up, I thank him because my bloodline, the males, I'm in uncharted waters. Being the oldest living one that I know.
Well, I know a few 104, 105-year-olds are running marathons. I know a 102-year-old doctor who's still practicing. It's not about the age, it's about vitality. It's about every day in the morning you get up and you thank God that you're alive and you don't worry about whether that's your last day. You just live for the moment and thank God that when you lay your head on the bed, you thank Him for this day. And I pray, Lord, that you will grant me another day. And if you don't, then thank you, Lord, for what I have accomplished. You have that attitude and that mindset, and you can do anything. You don't have to be like, I better not get behind the car in the rainstorm because that might be my last time. How do you know you're not going to get through it? And then you're going to go home and you're going to walk in the apartment and you trip on the rug. And that's when you don't have to worry about that.
And yeah,
Just,
hit your head and it be all
yeah.
over. You
That's what
know,
happened with that's what happened to my friend. He suddenly was coming home one night and like he does every night, and he turned the corner and went down the patio to his door, and that one patio that was up like this, he tripped on it, boom, it hit his head, he was gone.
wow.
So you
And
just have to think.
that's why I'm sharing my mom's story. Um, she's 83 years old,
Yeah.
and she actually has a pending contract for the 24th. Um, I have a group of friends, and that's another story for another day that I reconnected with in my mom's comeback. Uh, and a friend of mine that I recently met that's like a brother to me, and my mom calls him her adopted son. His name is K.E. Durham, and he has a music group called Black Nova Entertainment. Um, well, let me go back a little more.
Okay, hold on. They have the Amber Alert. Hold on.
Oh wow, nothing.
Sorry about that, Heston. Didn't want to be rude. It just said there's a 14-year-old missing, and they always send us
Oh
this
wow.
emergency alert. And it's like you're taking control of my phone. Can you tell me how to
Oh
do that
yeah.
so I can send you a message and say, will you stop doing that?
No,
so, so
that was
is
her.
it?
She's waiting, but I'll
Yeah.
I'll
Hi,
introduce her.
Carrie. Is it
I'll
you and her
introduce
going to
her.
be on? Is it you and her being going to be on?
Yeah, yeah, she's going to come on.
Cool.
I do most of the talking. She doesn't. She doesn't. She doesn't talk. She sings.
I got a whole thing here of questions and everything. So
Oh yeah,
I'm looking
yeah, yeah. I'll let
forward
you.
to
I'll get you to 'em. I like to lead up into her.
Okay.
You know,
Usually
this
when I do
started.
this, it means we're starting, so I won't do that yet. Go ahead.
Okay, this started when I was a teenager. In the early '70s.
Hmm.
But to get to where we got to where we are now, um, a guy reached out to us and wanted to reissue her 1978 album.
Yes, I'd love to
That
have one autographed. I love to have one.
This is an original copy,
Wow.
and it's worth last I googled $630.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, we had a box of 50.
Oh.
about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and we were my stepfather had just passed.
Mm.
I had moved in with my mom to help her with him, and we, like I said, we stumbled across a box of 50. So I started going to the local record shops. Well, first of all, we live in the San Francisco Bay,
Mm-hmm.
Haight Ashbury district, Berkeley, all the little vintage stores and record stores. So we put a couple on consignment in one, and a few days later, a guy named Chris Webb from Kalita Records in Europe called and asked could he do a reissue.
Wow.
So I didn't have Chris. I didn't have any idea oh about music, even though I was in a rap group.
Oh, wow.
But I never knew the ins and outs from behind the scenes. So a friend said, "Man, you're not doing nothing with him. Yeah, let him reissue him." So
Wow.
he reissued and added a couple of remixes and came out with the album. And a local paper reached out to me and asked could he do an interview. So he came, and did the interview. And the record label stopped after about 7, 8 months promoting her.
Oh,
And I'm like, hey, people are still messaging me telling me how good my mom sound. Why
yeah,
aren't you promoting her?
I
And
know.
what he explained made sense, but he was in it for the money and
Oh,
not for the love. Even though, no, don't get me wrong, he's a good guy, but he was looking at it as a business. And he says, man, realistically, Heston, I sold out the records. Your mama's not going to make any more. She's 78 years old. I made what I could. I'm glad you got the joy, but I have other artists. So I kind of humbled myself and kind of agreed. But then
man.
people were still messaging me, man, I just heard your mom's music and blah, 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 blah. So I got mad and I started promoting it. And just so happens we got on Fox 2 News.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine that I was affiliated with in rap, he messaged me and we reminisced, laughed and talked, and he invited my mom and I to a show.
Nice.
So we went to the show and hung out with his group of friends, supporting him. So we got to intermingling and talking. And like I said, this guy K.E. Durham, Black Nova Entertainment, he said, "Man, I'm listening to what y'all saying. I fell in love with Love Will Set You Free. Can
Mm-hmm.
we uh can we try to do some music?" So I talked to my mom. I'm like, "Mom, what do you think?" And she said, "Yeah, let's give it a try." So,
Nice.
the first two times we went there, I'm like, I don't think this is going to work, you know.
Mm.
And then me being a only child and her son, didn't know how to tell her you're just not gonna work. But then we went back that third time and she hit the note and the engineer ran out the studio and ran down the hallway. And I just laughed because it was like, I'm back. So, long story short, we ended up doing three original songs with him and two videos. And after meeting him, another mutual friend came into play, and his engineer died, and Black Nova is a partner of two. Ricardo Love was the engineer in the backgrounds. So he moved down to Las Vegas with my friend that engineer died. So for his thanking us, he remixed four of her songs.
Wow.
Yeah, four of her songs. So now we actually have six new songs and three new videos. And Chris, if you see the video, the high beams, I don't know if I sent it to you, but no, I did send you her website, right?
You did, and I'm looking forward to getting that. Usually, what I do is I take a video and I put it on the final podcast episode, so that not only can people enjoy the podcast, but they can see some of the work as well. So
Oh,
I'll
okay.
get that video from you, and hopefully, if you have like a crystal clear, clean video that you can just send me, I can use that too.
Okay. Um, it's he really listened to me, you know. Uh it's the story. Okay, I have a saying, uh 45 years in the making, the rebirth of Carrie Cleveland. It's
Hmm.
also a book that'll be out in the fall. Um, he did a song called High Beams, and the video is my mom, like the queen of independent music. She's dressed in royal blue with a crown and a scepter,
Wow.
and I'm her. I don't know what you call me, but
The
I got a royal
servant
blue
prince.
suit on. Yeah, you know, with a royal blue suit and a cane. And my mom has this what do you call it? I won't say a harem, but a group of beautiful ladies that cater to her. They're all in royal blue. Oh man, he's got blue roses, the same color. Beautiful video, and it's a quote in there. I
Hmm.
took a break for a half of a century, which she did, because you know she stopped singing for from let's see, my father died in '94. She stopped singing. Uh, her wedding reception was her last performance, which was in 2000, 2001,
Wow.
up until just recently.
Hmm.
So he wrote that, you know, and it's the story is real, the whole thing, and we've been doing radio and interviews,
Wow.
Zoom meetings like this, you
I'm
know,
so happy.
thanks to our mutual friend Kaden Gordon.
Yes. Kaden.
Uh,
Kaden. Hurrah!
hey, you know that's a great guy, man,
Hmm.
a great guy. Um, he's done so much with me in the short amount of time, and I met him because we started a radio podcast, the Indie Hookup, and it's
Hmm.
spelled Indie is Indy. Um, we are syndicated on seven different radio stations. Right now, we're right as we speak. We're on the Caden Gordon Radio Network. Um, that's that's how I've been really promoting her. I'm pretty much a one man promotion team. I submit her music to different radio stations. So I started submitting other people's music that who I've come to meet in our endeavors here online. So a friend of mine said we need to put together a show.
Mm-hmm.
So we did. We have an hour. We play about 15 independent artists a show,
Hmm.
where I come on at the intro and tell the story about who we have on for that hour and maybe how I met them or something like that. And then they'll
Awesome.
they'll play and the Ricardo, which is the engineer of the show, he'll say the name of the song before it comes on. So, we started doing that and of course I use a lot of my mom's music that I put in, the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just having a great time. She's had a performance. Her last performance was February 17th, and we have a show pending. I was told not to say anything, but it's too late. But I'm keeping her busy.
Yeah.
She cries and talks about um, I'm losing all my friends. They're we're getting old, and she gets depressed. So I'm doing my best to keep her busy, and it seems to be working. So uh, let me call her in here. Ma,
This is excellent. Yeah. So you mentioned you were part of a rap group. What rap group was that? You mind me asking?
it was called uh, RBG, the Righteous Black Gorillas, and the name of the group was the Ansars. It was a real militant group,
Oh wow.
but we reconnected, and now we're called the Buku Family Black Unity Conference Universal. And as the founder says, we unify the unifiers. You know, our last show, we gave away food. We had doctors speak.
Oh
They
wow.
gave away EpiPens. And my mom performed. A couple of other artists performed. And then I know I guess you could say superstar reggae artist. He's performed with the Whale. I met the Whalers
Oh
in
wow.
in his house. I come in the door and his living partner, which is his keyboard player, she leaned over and whispered, "Do you know who they are?" And I'm like, "No." She said, "Those are the Whalers," and they had to pick me up off the floor. Um,
I
but
think I
yeah,
feel the same
this
way
is
if I'm having dinner with somebody and said, "You know who that guy in the kitchen is?" Uh, no, that's Will Smith. You're kidding. What? What?
right. Yeah, yeah. Here, mom, come here, mom. You probably move so you could.
Hello,
Hello.
Carrie Cleveland.
Hello,
Can't wait to
how are
speak.
you?
I
Uh
can't wait to
oh.
talk to you. I got a whole thing here. I want to start with a whole introduction and everything. Once you're settled,
Yeah, let me move. Let me move.
I mean, you're welcome to be part of this, of course, Heston. Don't go anywhere. You're
No,
very
no,
interesting.
no. I mean, I am, but I'm gonna put it where we both could sit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
because I
amazing.
was having so much trouble. I was
God is
having so
good.
much
Yeah,
trouble logging in. She
I
was
know.
she was like, "Well, I'm gonna go sit down."
So I'm gonna have to do a little bit. Yeah, I've had people saying that they can't log in, and some people just suddenly boop, there they are. So I'm gonna have to make a note of that and let people know. Listen, I don't know what device you're gonna be logging in, but if you log in a phone, download this, use this. If you're using laptop, click on this. If you're using whatever, because sometimes it's like one lady took her 15, 20 minutes before she was able to get on. So, but
Oh, I
I'm
don't feel
really,
that bad then.
I really feel. Awesome that you and I can be friends, Heston, and this is awesome.
Okay, let me see if I can get her in here. I don't even see me.
No, I think your phone is down or something.
Okay, there we go. There
Heston, wait,
she is.
there he is. Oh, can hardly. Yep, to make sure that both of you are actually in the frame.
Okay. Uh, okay, it seems reverse, but I'm on the up one side and she's on the other side.
Is that a laptop you're
Yeah,
using
see,
or a
it is.
phone? What are you using?
It's a tablet.
Okay, so can you put the
It's
tablet
a
in a way so I
tablet.
can see both of
There we
you in
go.
there? And can you
Yeah.
okay, and move it up a little bit so I can see the top of your heads because sometimes it kind of crazy how the whole end of the video works and everything. Heston, we don't want to see you in there. We want to see her in there. There we
Right.
go.
Right. There you go, Mom.
Everyone, there we go. Yeah. It looks like Carrie, you're gonna have to go in like this in order to
Move
be able to see.
over.
Yeah.
Okay. And come.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't need to see me. You
We
got
need
to
to
come
see
this
you.
way.
You're famous too.
Nah, yeah, because I run my mouth.
Well, everyone, we have quite a fantastic show for you tonight. We have the amazing soul and Motown feel soul singer of the 50s who's wonderful every day and every time of her life, Carrie Cleveland, with her son Heston, who was part of a rap group himself. She is known for her captivating voice and heartfelt performances. Her music, deeply rooted in the soul traditions of the 1970s, has recently gained renewed attention and appreciation. Carrie, along with her late husband Bill Cleveland, created timeless music that continues to resonate with audiences today. Also, Carrie did
Turn the TV.
local performances during the 1970s and 80s, and she performed at various hotels and clubs around the San Francisco Bay Area. And these performances helped her build a local following and gain recognition for her soulful voice and heartfelt music. We're just gonna have to wait till she gets back.
No, she had the TV up real loud.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Sorry.
that's all right.
Uh,
So the early interest in music is that she sang casually at home with her sister. Her talent was evident early on, and she soon started performing at local venues. Her musical partner, husband Bill Cleveland, who is Heston's father, a probation officer and self taught musician, played a significant role in her musical journey. Bill was a probation officer by profession, and he also had a deep passion for music. He was a self taught musician and often wrote love letters to Carrie, ooh, which later inspired many of her songs. Now, Carrie, pleased to meet you. Welcome to the show.
well, pleased to meet you.
And pleased to meet you. And nice to talk to Heston as well. Your son is amazing. How he just introduced you. I don't even know why he even started this because, he couldn't say it any better himself. And so I want to ask you, so could you tell us about your early life in Shreveport, Louisiana?
Well, I wasn't. I came out here when I was 7, and I don't remember very much about what happened. I've never been back since. I've always stayed in Oakland, California.
Yeah.
So, and now we live in
Rio Vista.
Rio Vista, California. We've been here quite a while.
And what was it like moving to Oakland at such a young age?
It was okay. I was, like I said, I was about the second grade when I came to California. So I don't remember a whole lot, but uh,
Tell them how you started singing at home and
oh,
stuff.
I started singing home. I always liked to sing. I had a sister that was younger than myself. She and I used to sing together, but as we got older, she lost interest. So I
Hmm.
would sing in church sometimes, and I got away from that for a while. And then my husband, Heston's dad, he started playing music, and that's how I got started singing. Um, he was in a group, and he would play in clubs and things, and I would go with him. And sometimes he would call me up to sing, and we started getting more. He started getting more jobs by me singing, so that's how I end up start singing all the time.
Do you have any memories of singing with your sister at home? Like what kind of songs you sang and any genres? And
You know, I usually do. We used to sing some. Let me see. We did a lot of country songs.
You did?
We did. Like stuff like "Your cheating heart will make
oh wow,
you cry and cry
oh
till you
beautiful!
fall asleep," which I don't remember the words.
Free concert,
Um,
everyone.
uh,
Awesome! Wow.
I have, if I just sit and think, we had quite a we had like people come over and we would have like talent shows and stuff, and we just really enjoyed doing music. So now Heston has we Heston I'm sure he told you how we got into music again because of our songs we did. People start we start finding them in different places, and we learned that they were worth quite a bit. And now we sing, we play more, and everything. So
Yeah, hey Chris, when my mom signed with Kalita Records, he messaged me. He said, Heston, I'm gonna need you to do a cease and assist.
Oh,
Uh, it was quite a few people selling her streamables online.
oh,
So
yeah.
he taught me how to write the letter and tell them who I was, and we owned the rights to the music. So we got a few small checks, and one streaming service asked, "Sure, we'll pay you, but can we still stream it?" And I'm like,
Mm,
"No, we signed a deal with someone, so you have to stop."
mm.
And now, in the few years that we've came back, my mom 2 months ago reached over 2 million streams on Spotify. We average about anywhere from 15 to 2,500 streams a day.
Nice.
And I'm learning people say, well, it's not new music. I'm like, everything is new if you haven't heard it.
Hmm.
Because
Definitely.
you know who I just found out about? And maybe you know her, maybe you don't. Amy Weinstein.
Amy Winehouse.
I What Amy Whitehouse? Oh my God! Oh my God!
Well, at least you left the drink in there.
You know, I fell in love with her music.
Yeah.
Oh man, man. My
I
friend
I
said he
thought
had.
I thought of Carrie. I thought of you doing that cover for Valerie. Valerie is one of her most nicest tunes.
Really?
I
Amy
gotta look
Winehouse.
that up.
Valerie,
I'm
check
I
out Valerie. You'll fall in love with it, Heston. You'll fall in love with that song.
Okay, because you know I fell in love with Fade to Black.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
I know she was good.
yeah, it's a shma. She's a artist like Minnie Riperton.
Oh, really?
Who
Oh,
know
Minnie.
not the same sound, not the same
Wow.
sound, the same life story.
Oh,
You know, you know how they were in the 50s when they overdosed or do stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
The drugs and her lifestyle killed her.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful female vocalist.
I know.
And you
Yeah.
know, I'm only known about her for a little over a month.
I've never heard of
Oh my, I'm gonna play a video. You did, but you don't remember because I played it for you. Um, so uh it's amazing. People go, wow, I just heard your mom's music. So when people tell me I'll hear a song because I'm online listening to other people's music all the time. For one, for my to share my mom's music, and then for us looking for new independent artists for
Mm-hmm.
the indie hookup. They'll go, well, that song is 7 years old, and I'm like, it's 7 minutes old to me. I just heard it. So never say how old your music is because my mom's music is 45 years old.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I
if
don't get it.
you haven't heard it,
Yeah, I know. So,
uh,
what if they find a really gorgeous tune by Elvis Presley that nobody's ever heard? People are going to love it and say, well, that's a 50-year-old song. It's not that. It's just that it's Elvis, it's Carrie, it's Amy Winehouse. It's new to you because you never heard it, you know?
right, right.
Yeah.
And my other example is my father was loved by the whole community. He was a probation officer. It was prominent judges coming to the house, to even the homeless and addicts. They used to come. They all loved my father. This one guy, my father had been gone for 5 years, and this one guy knocked on the door, and I opened it, and he was so excited. He says, man, I finally found you guys. My name is blah 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 blah. Can is your father home? I'm like, man, I'm sorry to tell you this. He died 5 years ago. Do you know I had to pick him up off the porch? I said, man, he been gone for 5 years. He said, yeah, but I just left me. So
Mm.
I don't. If you haven't heard it, it's new. And my mom's music is timeless. I've been hearing that a lot. It's timeless music.
Yeah. Like, Carrie, you remember the 50s, and back then you had the big large hairstyle, like the big afro there, and you on your album and everything.
it. Yeah. Oh, yes. I
Yeah,
remember.
how did you meet your husband, Bill? How did you get together?
I met him over a cousin house around the holidays. She had guests over and she invited me and a few of my other cousins and my sister. And my sister didn't make it. She was sick.
Hmm.
So we ended up uh, dating. He was supposed to date my sister and we ended up dating because she didn't show up. So I met him over to a cousin's, and we started from there.
Lucky me, huh?
I know. So, what inspired you and Bill to start making music together? How did that transpire?
He was a drummer, and he like, you know how some drummers, they don't really have drums, they beat drums on furniture. He sort of did that, and he ended up getting drums, and he was a real good drummer. And for some reason, he started playing a keyboard. He took lessons for playing keyboard,
Hmm.
and he ended up being really good. So,
Do you
Yeah.
remember? Do you remember
Uh-huh.
some of the other artists and musicians that you and Bill played with and jammed with?
oh yeah, you know, this weekend we met some guys that knew people we used to know,
Hmm.
and a lot of them have passed on, and we had a good time talking because we knew so many people, and he gave us a CD with a lot of them had music on them. We haven't listened to it yet, but we we met quite a few people Saturday, well, Sunday.
Yesterday.
Well, that's, yeah,
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Oh, growing up, my father had a garage studio, and we lived we had to walk down the long driveway, and my room was the back bedroom, so everybody walked past my bedroom. And I remember them always talking. Tower of Power came to the house. Sly Stone,
Sly Stone.
um,
Wow.
um,
So
In
notable.
Vogue.
Hmm.
In Vogue would come to the house, and then my rapping buddy, Too Short, used to come to the house. And when he reissued uh, the album, a lot of people started messaging me, asking me about the whereabouts of other artists my father produced. He not only did my mom, he did a few more local artists,
Nice.
like this one guy named Hosey B. My mom moved when my father died, and she lost contact with a lot of musicians. Hosey B was what was he, like a blues singer?
Mm, no, I wouldn't say he was a like standards, more or less.
Yeah, he did a lot of standards, but my father produced an independent copy of his music. So once you go up in the reissue category, other people start reaching out and research. So they saw my father's, I guess you could say, BMI list,
Mm.
and they saw all the people he produced. So they were looking for them. Um, I had a friend that played professional baseball, and I would go to a lot of the games, and the opposing team from our home team, people sat in the same section. And I kept looking in the section, and I'm like, wow, that sure looks like, so Cindy, she was the leader of In Vogue. So I scooted in the same aisle and I got closer and closer. And I said, Cindy. I said, your name is Cindy, right? She said, yeah. I said, you know a guy named Charles? She said, yeah, that was our old manager. I'm like, you guys used to come to my dad's studio. And I told her, where the studio was. And she was like, yeah, yeah. So, that broke the ice and we start talking. My father didn't use the egg cartons, for the acoustics. He used the fiberglass. So you could only be in there a couple of hours before you come out scratching and oh my God. So we laugh about that. My father did all my mom's music on a 4 track and a half track reel to reel. Now this is when you had to play the whole song per track. So he would play that song over and over with the drums, with the keyboard, and whatever instrument he would want to do. And every now and then I would run in and open the door. Oh, he'd kill me. Ah! So he would have to start over. And now, all you got to do for the bridge of a song or the chorus is to record it one time and then just place it in the slots. I'm like, wow, things have changed. So I also remember my father going, well, we got to go to the mastering studio. At the time in California, it was only in Hollywood. So we lived about 6 hours from Hollywood. We would get in the van and drive all the way there. He'd go into the studio with the reel to reel, and then we'd drive all the way back home. And 6 weeks later, we drove back, and my father and his friend loaded up the van with all the records. 1,000
Wow.
records is quite a few boxes.
Oh,
So that was one
wow.
story I remember. But then, um, I'm just being nosy online. I'm Googling all the band members I remember. So their drummer was Victor Green Leonard. And I Googled him. He played for James Brown, Bobby Blue Bland,
Huh,
Fats Domino, Big
Fats.
Mama Thornton, and who
Oh,
else
wow.
now?
I know all these people.
Um,
And I say, Ma, I said, no disrespect. How did he end
Bobby
up
Blue
with you
Bland.
guys?
Bobby.
I
Oh,
said,
you
no,
said
yeah.
Bobby.
I said, how did he get with you guys? And she started, we laugh, laugh, laugh. Uh, that's still a question I ask. But yeah, we met a guy. I have a T-shirt with my mom's logo, I guess you could say, with the copy of the album that I just showed you. And we went to scout out the event that we're going to be trying to perform, and they had an event there, so it was better for us to see how it would be. And we were walking towards the guy, and he jumped up and came out in the aisleway and said, tell me about Carrie Cleveland. And so my mutual friend that was with us, he moved out the way. He said, there she is right there. So they started talking. They were in the same era, in the same music scene. So she knew people that he knew, and he knew people that she knew. And they were going back and forth. This one died, this one did that.
Yeah, we lost a lot of them, and by us
Mm,
moving to Rio Vista, not staying where you used to stay, you lose people.
hmm.
But around the time my husband was uh, pretty active in playing music, we've lost so many people.
Hmm.
you know. And then,
Wow.
that I didn't realize, now that I think back, my mom done played before the internet, and they had a big following. You know, my father, they would go audition for a job, and they would call a few people, and they would come. It was never a empty audience. I would go because I would be like, I would help my father set up the sound, we roll it because he had the big organ where he had the organ dollies. It was bigger than a casket.
Yeah. Wow.
So we would carry that in, and I help him with the speakers and the mixing board and everything. And so I would sit there, and I could stand the music. Being a teenager and a young man, my genre was different than theirs, but I could stand it. And I came to fall in love with it with the reissue. We got a brand new, we had a brand new Toyota, and the CDs came in a box, and the best sound system we had was in the car. So I made
Hmm.
an excuse. I'm gonna go wash the car. I put the CD in, Chris, and I turned it up and I started driving. And I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute, this is really good. Me being the age I am now and my love of music, I'm like, we got something here.
And
Oh
there
wow.
was times when we would go audition, we would dress. My husband had two outfits. They had a blue uh, suit jacket and a red suit jacket. And a lot of times we was people liked us the way we would dress because at that time people didn't really dress to do jobs.
Hmm.
And we got a lot of jobs because the people liked the way we dress.
So they were pretty popular in the Bay Area. I can remember a few times that they had two jobs on the same day. So my friends and I, we would go set up one, and he'd go set up the other one, and I was a DJ, so I would play for a little while until they came to the job. Uh, and then it was even like they would perform at hotels, and I would be in the back, and people would walk by the hallway and go, "Wow, can we come in?" And come on in. So we're finding out more and more people loving my mom's music. We did a record signing party at a local radio station,
Hmm.
at a local record store, and people came from all over. I couldn't even get in. I'm standing outside and I'm like, I can't even get in. People would come up to me, "You must be Heston." I'm like, "Yeah." And they would go, "You know how I got this record?" And they would tell me stories.
Hmm.
One girl told me she was moving, and she set her crates of records outside and ran and did a sweep of the house. And when she came back, someone stole my mom's record. The only
Hmm.
record they took was my mom's record.
Hmm.
And I got a kick out of that. So, her popularity is pretty noticeable, and is growing, because
Wow.
we're posting her doing shows, and not only they like the sound, they like the story, because she's making a comeback, you know. And at the end of the high beam song, she goes, "As long as you're alive, it's your time. I'm making the best of mine."
Yeah,
It-
I agree with that. Like, what was the inspiration behind the song "Make Love to Me"? That's a very interesting sound.
Well, I tell you, my husband he wrote all those songs. It's like one now, we, what's his name? In
Ricardo. Oh, yeah, I told him about Ricardo. You know, that's the "Make Love to Me" you have. It's more like a disco-ish background. Yeah, that's Ricardo Love. He remixed that. He's a can I say a hell of an engineer.
Hmm.
When we got the remix, it was like, oh my god, this is beautiful. So we have to give him that credit for that.
and he
Nice.
also did one, "Love Will Set You Free." It's they did it on what's the name of that movie?
No, oh, that's not Ricardo.
I
That's the original one. It's in a Netflix series. Love Will Set You Free. I don't know if you heard that.
No,
So you only heard "Make Love to Me," right?
no, I have the whole album here. I've heard "I Need Love," "Take Me to Disco," "Take a Moment," but I'm more interested in "Make Love to Me," which is yeah, it's I love your sound. I love the way you sound, Carrie. It's a beautiful piece of music.
Oh, he
Thank
got the
you,
original.
thank you. Yeah, I've had several people called up and was telling me I had kind of quiet down a little bit in the music, and different ones have called Heston and said that they like I love your voice. I said, well, I guess I better start singing again.
Oh, you know
Yeah,
what, Chris? Do me a favor. Do me a favor, buddy. Tell my mom how good she sounds.
Carrie, you sound fantastic. Your vibrato, your voice, your sound. You sound like an angel. If there was an angel standing in front of me, I'd name her Carrie. You know, it'd be awesome.
Hey, thanks, buddy. Her son tells her that every day, three, four times a day.
How
She
did
doesn't
like
believe me.
yeah? How did you come up with the idea for your album, Looking Up?
That was all my husband.
Mm,
The mastermind is no longer with us.
mm.
He wrote all the songs, played all the instruments. Only thing he didn't do was what she did.
So Heston, when you were a little boy, when you were younger, and your father was doing all the music, and your mother and everything, was there a time when it's like, get out of here, kid, go play baseball? Was there a time when your parents would go, hey, why don't you come? Maybe I'll teach you all this stuff. Here, and you picked up an
Oh
electric
yeah.
guitar, you picked up an instrument. What was your reaction when you're like, wow, I want to do this?
You know what? Okay. I was forced into music. I played the
Four.
sax.
Oh,
I was forced. I played the saxophone. I really lost interest, but I was a performer. We had a dance group, in my early teens. We had a dance group. We would practice, practice, practice. And
hmm.
my father would have us perform in between sets. Like they would do a job, two or three sets, and we would perform. Later on, I would go to the clubs and party. My friend came across this mixer for turntables. So we ended up getting turntables, and I would use my dad's speakers, and I would do parties. Then I became really good, really good. I stepped up the equipment. We were pretty known in the Bay Area where we did a lot of parties. So I would do some spins in between my mom's and them set. And then that's how I got introduced to the rap group. A
Mm.
guy came up to me, well, man, you're good. I like to have you come. So, we started going to the studio, and my father was a big supporter. He even taught three of my friends how to play keyboard. And believe it or not, all three of them have platinum music now.
Wow.
Um, all this is coming into play, and I'm realizing how good my father was when he got sick after he had his heart attack.
Mm.
Um, I would, I had just got a divorce and I moved back home.
Mm.
So I was set to, he said, I want to practice. So he would get up. I would set up the keyboard in the living room and he just play. And I'm like, oh my God.
He would
He,
get up and play and go back to bed.
yeah. And he was really good. Oh, he would bring me out my room and I'd just come and go. And he'd have that smirk on his face. And I'm like, man, you're good. Then, like my mom said, he'd get up and go back to bed.
Drop the mic.
So
Yeah.
when he died, my mom decided I'm going to finish all the dates. They had dates from years, booked years in advance. So
Mm.
she did all that. She would take this keyboard, take this lead guitar, take this bass, intertwine the group. She had one person couldn't make it. She have another guy come, but then eventually they got greedy. They wanted more money, and
Oh.
it was her getting the jobs, me setting up the equipment. All they had to do was bring their instrument and plug in. So she got mad and said, well, you know what? I don't need this anymore, and quit.
Oh. So just
So
that's a problem with musical giants and rappers and musicians. It's always about money. Like I don't know if you remember Oasis, the two brothers, Noel and Liam Gallagher, and just the friction and the money and things that they hated each other. And I always think, what do you think of the whole? You or Carrie can answer this one. What do you think? Why is sex, drugs, and rock and roll synonymous with music?
you know, well, rock and roll is the love of what you get. Now, a lot of people have sex to music,
Hmm.
and then the drugs, you lose yourself in the music.
Hmm.
That's why in the early days, most of the music, 60% of the musicians were into drugs. Some were heavier than others. That's why we're saying, look at Amy, look at Minnie Riperton.
Hmm.
What's the spinner name? The spinners, the one that died on stage.
Yeah.
The-
Can't remember.
I know. Uh,
He died on stage of an overdose. I
Whoa.
mean,
the Spinners.
yeah, what was his name?
I don't remember.
But you know who I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. And I met with the guy. I used to be a doorman at a hotel, and now his name slips my mind. But the name of his song was "Goodness Gracious, Great Balls of Fire."
Um,
Oh. Oh my goodness. Jerry Lee Lewis.
I know.
Yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis. You know what? Uh, he was a real nice, approachable guy, and He comes down like he was supposed to stay a week. I guess he had a tour in San Francisco. And he comes down and he's like, "Well, Heston, I'm in trouble." I'm like, "What's up, Jerry?" He says, "We got kicked out." I'm
Oh.
like, "You got kicked out? You know why?" He said, "I had an incident in the room. So,
Oh.
I helped them load up their stuff and they pulled off. And the houseman called me. He said, "Man, you got to see this room." He trashed the room. I mean, he was in his 70s. And, he still did what they did, get high and just trashed. He trashed the room. And I couldn't believe it. I guess living that lifestyle, not knowing any other thing, so it's funny, just how that all blends together.
Wow. Okay, that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's been happening since the beginning of the music in 30s or 40s to even now, and we've lost many musicians and guitar giants and you name it. It just doesn't end. Like it's just you in the music, you automatically think, okay, well, I'm making all the money. I'm going to have to, get some cocaine or get some drugs or drink and become an alcoholic. But even today, musicians they can't make money. So do they start off drugs and stuff? No, it's still part because they want to find a high for some reason, and you don't have to take drugs. You don't have to drink. You just give your heart to the Lord and let Him, make you content and be able to live your life for Him. You can write music for Him as well, instead of taking a drug or people like you even said like drinking and being an alcoholic makes you high, makes you happy. But in the end, your life is over.
Right. Music does that for us now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I know a lot of independent artists, and in a matter of 4 months, we've had a total of 34 shows, and we
Nice.
cater them to genres. Like we have an all reggae show. Uh, the last show we did, I called our international show, and it's anywhere but here. And I jokingly said, because I'm rooting for the US of, I said, since the Olympics, I'm rooting for the USA all day. And I said, this show is dedicated to all those countries that are coming in second, third, and fourth place. So it's this one guy that my mom really likes, and his song is "You Make Me Happy." And when it comes on, it makes you happy. I mean, it's a
It's a cute song. It
you
makes you
listen
feel
to
good.
it and you can't help but be happy. Music is it says a message. It's a universal message. Now, my mom music is love. You know, um, we did it. I'm gonna tell you this, Mom. Uh, we did a show in San Francisco, and Ke Durham, Black Nova, and Ricardo. They were in the car, and Ke he just started laughing. He was laughing. He say, "Mr. Bill, show did your mama wrong," and we was like, "What?" And he starts singing "I Need Love," and we laugh. My mom didn't realize the words. When you listen to "I Need Love," just listen to the words. Uh, it's a really it's on the border of being risque. And Kay goes, "Mr. Bill knew what he was talking about, but your mom didn't know." And we laughed. We just kept laughing. It's funny, how music does you. Music could make you angry. It can make you happy. You can remember like say you had something bad happen and a certain song would play that
Mm-hmm.
will automatically bring you back to that thing that made you unhappy. And it can work as to make you happy. You hear a song and you remember where you were, you remember what you
Yep.
did, and and that song makes you feel good. And
Yep. Yep.
that's how.
Yep. For me, it's Elton John's "Goodbye Yellow Brick Road" brings me back to when I'm like 9 years old. I'm sitting in the kitchen. My mother's making a sandwiches. I always brought back to childhood when I hear a song I haven't heard since the '70s. But that
Mhm.
memory doesn't show up in my mind unless I listen to the song. I can't just suddenly say I remember back
Right.
here. I have to hear the song. I'm like, yes, that song. I remember sitting in the kitchen and this blah blah blah. And so yeah,
Yeah, you can remember exactly what you're doing.
yeah.
And it's funny how that hit your memory. Um, my mom's songs do that to me. One guy messaged me, and he said, "Heston," and I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I just listened to 'Love Will Set You Free,' and it brought shivers down my spine."
Wow.
And I think about that a lot. That song is my mom's national anthem, and my dad hit the nail on the head. If you're down and you don't want to be, fall in love, love will set you free. That rings in my head all the time. Now, um, on Netflix, my mom is on a Netflix series called Glitter. A second episode, Love Will Set You Free.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
uh, it's a beautiful song. Man, that song there is an inspirational song. It made K.E. Durham. He tells the story best. Man, I heard that song and I had to be a part of it. Now
Huh.
that's another thing I I've learned. You could pay for a service, a promotional company to help you do some stuff. You give them the money and they'll do it. But I've learned in our journey, people see the love that I have for my mom, and I dig deeper. I say, no, don't get me wrong. I do this for my mom, but I do this for my dad. My mom is just the one receiving the flowers
Mm-hmm.
because I could tell you so many stories about my father that you would go, wow, he's an amazing, not only an amazing musician, just an amazing person. When he
Wow.
walked across the room, it was an entourage behind him. You could hear the music as he walked across the room with his people behind him.
Hmm.
Um, I'm blessed to have witnessed a family love story. Like I always say, my mom and dad loved each other. They shared the common love of music, and we share our love for each other. So I love my mom, and I'm blessed to have had both parents in my life for 31 years. I was even the best man at their second wedding.
Wow.
Now,
That's love. That's love right there.
America has lost that because there's a lot of single parent homes. You know, it's I'm not throwing it in anybody's face. I'm just sharing how blessed I am and our family love story. And I'm letting the people know that that still can exist. And the music is just the icing on the cake. Because if you listen to me talk and I play the music, you'll fall in love with it. Now, people reach out to me and go, Heston, I do this, do that, and do this. I would love to offer my services for you for free because
Wow.
you love your mom like I love my mom. And I get that a lot where just the love, and you get so much more for the love from the heart than you do for the love of the money. Because look, we here talking to you and you ain't charged me a dime. It's out of
Kindness is
the
free,
love
my
for the
friend.
music. Huh?
Kindness is free, my friend.
Right. And I just okay, we chit chat back and forth on email,
Hmm.
but when I came on this line, we had the common love of music before we even said hi.
Hmm.
So you love music like I love music. That makes us family.
Do you have
You
a
know that
specific genre that you don't want to listen to? Like, is there any genre out there that you just don't play it near me, or do you love all
acid rock.
genres?
Acid rock.
Oh,
I mean, I could put up with it for a short amount of time, but generally no. I've learned to really I'm liking more country. At first I didn't really like it, but of course dealing with Caden, and I do have a music platform. He sends me music all the time, and I'm going, wow, this is not bad, and we'll do a country show, and all the artists would thank me. Thank you, Heston. Thank you for playing our music. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
wow.
And it's actually some good songs. I got a new friend, Rick Lovett.
Yeah, yeah. We had him on our podcast. He's really good.
He's
Him
good.
and Rick.
He's good, and
Yeah,
he's a good guy. He's
yeah.
a good guy. I talked to him on Facebook. We're Facebook friends. I talked to him. Um, I've met people from all over the world through the music. And one guy I was having a conversation with, and I'm quite a bit older than him. He considers himself a leader, and
Mm.
he was asking me certain questions. He goes, "You don't mind me asking you some questions? You're quite a bit older than me, and I just want to get your thoughts." He said, "If you could start over, what would you change?" And I gave it some thought, and then I told him nothing. And he was like, "Really? Why?" I said, "Because if I changed my thoughts, me and you wouldn't have this conversation. We wouldn't be talking here right now."
That's true.
And I like the story. I like what's going on with my mom and I. Um, it's We're carrying on my father's legacy. My mom enjoys singing.
Excuse me. Sorry.
We love the time we have together.
Hmm.
It's mostly her and I. Most of the time, my son lives in Vegas. My
Yeah.
grandson lives a little ways away. We've got a network of friends, which my mom is I'm an only child with 100 brothers and sisters. everybody adopted my mom,
Nice.
and I had a Zoom meeting before I came on with you, and I had to leave early because I got emotional. We
Mm-mm.
went out, like I said yesterday, to scout a venue, and I reconnected with the guy from my old rap group for 30 years. We this all start coming back. We start meeting up with people, and now I know his family. And the two daughters, they came with us, and we were leaving, and they hollered out, "We love you, Miss Carrie," and it was heartfelt, And it's funny. I know some real good artists that have gold and platinum records.
Wow.
It's this young lady named Tesla Nay. She's a Southern soul singer. She lives in Shreveport, Louisiana. Um, she called me one day as we were driving, and I had the phone on the Bluetooth on the car. So I'm talking to her, and I go, Tesla Nay, say hi to my mom. She stuttered and couldn't even get her words right. And my mom and I laughed when she hung up. And so I called her. I'm like, "You all right?" And she said, "That was your mom. Oh my God, that was your mom." And it's funny. My mom is an inspiration to a lot of artists. I mean, some pretty well established artists. And that amazes me to know that we're doing good, financially, because of the music industry has changed.
Yeah.
Monetarily, we're not, but we're rich in love and the sound, and our streaming numbers are braggable, but of course the music industry has changed. It's not many
Yeah.
ways to make music. I mean, to make money off of the music. My mom is able to get out and maybe perform two or
Mm.
three times a year, which is a lot of fun. We meet a lot of people, so it's fun. It keeps us going.
Yeah. Yeah, I know about the music industry. What do you think of this whole artificial intelligence taking, like, it could take your mom's voice and have her singing Barbie Girl by Aqua or something, or an Amy Whitehouse song? Like, you're talking about how people were stealing your music or streaming and making money. You said cease and desist. What if someone takes your mother's voice and has her do a cover song of a Alicia Keys song or something? How are you going to prevent that?
We that was what the meeting was about. The AI intelligence. I don't know yet. I mean, I've heard some artists suing people because of it, but we haven't crossed that road. I mean, even though we're touching on it, I don't know. In one way that would help us, and then another way it would hurt us. Because anytime something is new is done, it'll revitalize the older music. You
Okay.
know,
Okay, so now Beatles, both Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney were working on a song since John Lennon was alive, and it's called Now and Then. And they themselves, I mean, you got Ringo Starr and you got Paul McCartney still around from the Beatles. They finally finished the song last year. They call it Now and Then. They used artificial intelligence to extract John's vocals from the piano, and then they extracted George Harrison's. He died in 2002. They extracted his guitar from, and now they have this beautiful song called Now and Then, which they said was the very last Beatles song. So artificial intelligence can be used for good, but it can be used for bad, like the deep fake Tom Cruise and all that crap they have out there, and saying, "Hey, it's Carrie. I'm talking to Carrie online." No, it's not Carrie. It's some lady using your face. So it can be dangerous sometimes. you
Yeah,
know.
that's a hard thing. I remember when it first started coming out,
Hmm.
this guy was saying, you could reach hundreds of people with one stroke. And I guess, I'm older, so I'm still kind of old fashioned. I prefer to maybe, okay, talk in a group of at the most 10 people, but I prefer the one at a time approach because I'm personable that way.
Very
I,
nice.
I want to be able to tell you thank you. You know, thank you goes a long ways.
And
Instead
kindness.
of just sending a link. Oh, here. No, I want to talk to you. I submit my mom's music to over 40 radio stations. And now if I put it into thought, like Rhythm Rave Radio is in Colorado, and the name it's a husband and wife radio personality team. Um, their nicknames is Funk and Modesty, but
Mm.
his name is Alex. He's the program director, the CEO. Then there's Crack Radio, and the CEO program director is Gene.
Mm.
Every time I submit my music and they accept it, I thank them by their name. I don't have
Mm.
to look on a piece of paper. Thank you, Gene. Thank you, Alex. You know, um, there's a guy, eTunes Music. His name is Mark Bradley. He considers himself the best free promotion online. He's a
Mm.
European based promoter.
That's a red
That's
flag to me.
huh?
It's a red flag to me when someone says they're a promoter and they can do this and do that. That's like a big red flag to me, like because you get these people saying, "Hi, I'm a promoter and I can take your podcast to new heights and I can do this," but they're all just scams. So how do you know this guy's in the scam?
Because he done it for free
Mm.
and it works. I've learned the scam artists, most of the scam artists, I don't want to sound prejudiced or nothing, are from Africa
Mm-hmm.
and here in the States. The European and France, they love music. I don't know how they make their money. I really don't. But Mark has never charged me a dime.
Mm. Good.
And his work shows that. It's another company called Toon Bubble. They're
Mm.
European based marketing company. And it's like before I realized what it was, I would send them. I said, I need a feature on the artist. They said, okay, send it to me. I send them the artist's music, all the links and the bio, and they put it together. And that's a electronic press quit. An EPK. I'm like, oh, okay. He do that for free. You know. Then
Yeah.
they message me, Heston. Uh, if the artist that I did this for register with me and they want to sell their music through Bandcamp online, I'll charge them 10%.
Mm.
Now, me having 5,000 followers on X or Twitter,
Yeah.
versus them having 44, 50,000. Yeah, why not? It's free. They're doing the work, and the money is overseas. It's not here in the States.
Yeah.
It's overseas in Europe. I met so many people in Europe that don't charge a dime. My Indie Radio is one there in France. She has us every Friday, the Indie Hookup. She'll send me could I submit this artist to your show? Sure. So we'll play them. It's my buddy calls it cooperative marketing. I promote instead of me promoting the artist, now I promote the radio stations that play our music. I
Mm.
promote Caden Gordon's radio network, my indie radio in France, Rhythm Rave Radio in Colorado, What
Nice.
Radio in Alabama. Tonight we premiere on KYBN Radio,
Oh. Oh.
going to be a part of. We promote them. So I grab the artist, put them on a show. I'll send it to all the radio stations. Like I said, I got 34 shows built so far. I sent them to all those radio stations and they randomly pick, okay, I'm going to use this one this week. Okay,
Wow.
I'll promote it. Um, One radio station plays our show 5 days a week. Another one, KYBN, plays it Friday on a personal friend show, and now we have our own show on that same radio station. So it's the artists kind of promote us. We promote the radio stations. It's a little easier that way instead of me sending 5 or 6 artists to one radio station because it was explained to me, and that's another duh moment. Heston, do you realize how many songs I get a day that I have to listen to? And eTunes, he's just a promotion. He's not a radio station. He said, Heston, last year I got 1,500 songs. I
Wow.
have to listen to them all. I do the promo. It's like he did for me.
Wow.
He posted my mom's bio. He posted one of her videos. He posted a television article we had and clippings from the new music. So you hit the link, you hit the music, you read the bio, then you watch the video or the news clipping. He did that out of love. So I met friends. I have a interviewing team now
Mm.
that we have interviews on. I've got like 3 or 4 platforms that do interviews. I'm
Nice.
now on a new music review where this guy his name is Celebrity DJ Cat X. And
Hmm.
I'm like, wow, why all the elaborate, all this stuff. But then I got to know him. I read his bio. He's his claim to fame is breaking Master P's music in the music
Master
industry.
P. Oh,
So
wow.
he's sitting at a desk with platinum records all around him, and he's sitting there like this. And he's got a million stories. So he liked what I was doing, and he asked me, he said, man, I'd love for you to come on and be a part of the panel.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, so we do interviews every other Thursday, And this past Thursday, we had this guy named Herb Middleton, and he was pushing him up. Oh my God, Herb Middleton's coming. Herb Middleton's coming. You know, I'm a little guy on the West Coast. I didn't
Mhm.
know who he was, so he sent his bio in. This guy produced Usher, Mary
I love
J.
Usher.
Blige,
Yeah,
P.
I'm a big
Diddy.
fan of Mary J. Blige.
He did her music and he named the
Wow.
songs. And now I'm like,
I know. My mouth would be open too.
so, and he was
Like who
so
I
humble.
yeah, when you mentioned you were used to be a rapper, Cool Mo D came to my mind, and I'm thinking, wow, is Heston as good as Cool Mo D?
Oh, no, 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 no. I see you throwing the hook. No, no, no. I was the
I
DJ.
gotta
I
work
was,
like a
I didn't, I
doctor.
didn't, I didn't rap. I didn't rap. Um, the rap group I was in was pretty good. And today I'm just now realizing how good they were because of the stories. The leader of the group was his name was Ascari X, and we had signed a deal with Jive. We were about to sign with Jive Records, but then unforeseen things happened, and a few of them went to jail. So
Oh,
they offered the deal to Too Short. So I'm like, you're kidding me. He said, yeah, we had we were offered the deal before Too Short. Now I remember Sir Mix-a-Lot was going on tour,
oh, I know him.
and they offered us $7,000 per show for 20 minutes.
Wow, really?
I'm like, what? Wow,
What?
but
Okay, I'm
they
gonna
went
let you.
away.
We reached out to Kevin Bacon to be on the podcast, but you know that he requests if you have Kevin Bacon on the podcast for 1 hour, that's $1.5 million. And I said, nope, sorry.
What?
Yeah, he's charging up to $5,000 for 10 minutes and 1.5 million for an hour. I said, forget it. I don't really want Kevin on my
Now wait a
podcast.
minute.
I mean,
This is Kevin Bacon, the actor, right?
yeah, he's a singer as well. He's got his own, the Bacon Brothers. Him and his brother are like a team. Yeah, same guy,
Oh,
Kevin Bacon.
what?
Yeah,
You know what? I think I did hear something about him having a group. You're kidding me.
yeah, the Bacon Brothers. Him and his brother, and of course, you know that Kevin Bacon's married to Kyra Sedgwick, so she does a lot of. There was a song that he came up with, and yeah, it's great. He's great, and also Keanu Reeves is in a band called Dog Star.
Yeah, I
So
heard about that.
many of them. But Mary J. Blige. Well, if I had a chance to interview her on my podcast, it'll be like, oh, no, finding words.
you know, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, this guy Herb, he dances with the stars. And
Mm.
for us to interview him and to talk to him, I told him, I said, man, I'm a fan. And I said, first of all, you're a humble person. Thank you for giving us the time. He was so happy to share the music. We asked him, so how did you get started in music? And the story he told, he lived in New York. His older brother took him under his wing, and he said they went to the Apollo. And I'm like, no, you didn't. I'm like, man, just to go in there and to breathe the air and have the ambiance of sitting in one of them seats and looking up on stage. He said, yep, that's what did it. I watching them with the
Wow.
shows, and I fell in love with it, and I started doing music, and this person came and that person came, and I'm like, wow, I would love to go to Del Palo or Carnegie Hall, somewhere like that. No one has to play. Just let me sit in the seat,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know.
Like
So
I know some girl who paid $9,500 to see Taylor Swift. That's how much a ticket she got. 95. I just bought a ticket for Taylor Swift for $9,500. I'm like, did you pay off your student loans yet? Yeah, it's
wow.
ridiculous. But
she,
yeah, you're telling us all these things about the music, what you've done, this and that. You do know that May was Mental Health Month. How are you, Carrie and Heston? How are you dealing with your mental health? Like, what are some of the things that are they non-musical? What helps you keep your sanity?
Me, music. And for my mom, I'm not really speaking for her, but I could say it's the music, and I know don't she does it for the love, but I know she does it for me, to keep me
Yeah.
happy and keep me going. Um, Music has really helped us out a lot. We had a few family situations
Mm.
that are really disturbing.
Mm.
Um, and music is our lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get up, music is on. I jump in the car, music is on. Before I came on with you, I had the music on,
Nice.
and I can't tell you a mainstream person hardly anymore. But if you want to know about an independent artist, I'll tell you about them. I've met so many artists, which I compare my mom to, and I explained to her, "Mom, you're an independent artist." So it's a family of artists that I bump into, and I'll hear their music, and I'll go, "Hey, I'm doing this, this, and this. Send me your music." Then I'll share my mom's music, and they become an instant fan. And then we're in turn fans of theirs. This is another example. I got a friend that I've known for over 40 years. And you hear the story, "Oh yeah, I sing, I do this, I do that." And you go, "Okay, yeah." So he knew about my mom. So he would always go, "Well, I sing, blah, 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 blah." And I reconnected with him somewhere. I can't remember where. And I told him what I was doing. And he says, "Man, I got an album I'm about to do. I'm going to Vegas, and I'm gonna send it to you." This guy can sing. And
Wow.
my mom is like, "I like him." And I go, "I like him too." So I called him. I'm like, "Hey man, my mom and I are fans of your music."
Mm-hmm.
And he laughed and he said, "Man, well, because he called my mom Mama Carrie. Well, I'm a fan of Mama Carrie. I love y'all." So um, it's just it's just a beautiful thing. The music, no matter how pissed off I am at something, it's like this. I'm disabled. I have
Mm.
spinal stenosis. I
Mm.
have equilibrium issues.
Oh wow.
And some days I get up and I get frustrated because I have trouble maneuvering around. and
Mm.
and now I'm 61 years old, and I'm starting to use a walker.
Oh no.
You know, as a man, you could understand how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
but I'll turn on some music and I'll just lose myself in the music. And it's like now, every morning, it's okay. Our house is built like a U shape where you come in through the like the little courtyard, you come into the foyer, you go to
Mm-hmm.
the left, that's my mom's room. And my room is to the right. You make two rights and walk all the way down the hallway. Every morning before I get up, my mama lean in and go, "What's up with the music?" So we look forward to our day in music. Like I
Right.
said, we're on we're on 13 times a day, and with my mom's history, uh, I'm always peeling back the onion and finding stuff. On Instagram, if you hashtag Carrie Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
you will be there for hours, hours. I mean, 60% of the posts are mine, but I'll go through it. And, who did that? This one guy, he did a time lapse painting where he
Mm-hmm.
sped it up and drew my mom's face, and he had "Love Will Set You Free" playing in the background. And I messaged him. I'm saying, "Hi, my name is Heston Cleveland, son of Carrie Cleveland. Man, that's a beautiful painting you did." He said, "Yeah, man, I got the album with a CD, and it inspired me to do that." And he said, "What's your address?" And he sent us the painting. It's a beautiful piece of work.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Nice.
then people have pictures with my mom. I'm like, "Mom, you remember that picture?" No. We got pictures of her holding up an original copy or a signed copy at a record store where, like, Rainbow Records. I don't know if you know about them. That's I guess, a regional store here. There's like seven or eight in the area.
Mm.
We in Berkeley. Berkeley is hippie town, or like
Yep.
the Haight Ashbury district, where vinyl is still worth something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we'll go there, and people will be implanted. Like, I'll call them, "Hey, Jim, we don't come down. We got a couple of records we want
Yeah.
to get rid of you." So we'll go in, and it'll be implants, and they'll be looking at my mom, acting like they going through the records, and we'll leave out, and my mom will go, "I felt funny." I'm like, she said, "Everybody was looking at me." And I laugh. I'm like, "Mom, they called and said you would be there."
Mm.
So I'm trying to show her how famous she is. And the thing is, she's more famous overseas than she is here.
Well, there you go, Carrie. You're famous.
Yeah. And I'm online, and a lot of I talk to a lot of women that message me, and they say they like me because the love I show from my mom. It was like 3:30. I was at my son's house, and this young lady messaged me, and we did the familiarities. "So where are you from?" She says, "I'm in Germany." And
Mm.
I look, I said, "It's 3:30. I said, "What are you doing up so late looking for love?" And she started laughing, and she said, "Well, you're in California. How you know what time it is here?" And I explained to her, I said, "Well, my mom has music that's being played overseas." And she said, "What's your mama's name?" And I'm like, "You don't know her." She said, "What's your mama's name?" I said, Carrie Cleveland. And she said, oh, yeah, she's a legend. And I'm like, how do you know?
Awesome.
Oh, I listen to her music. And then another young lady, um, we did before we did the meet and greet at the store. The article came out in the San Francisco Chronicle, which is one of the biggest newspapers in California. She messaged me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And it said, I've been trying to get in touch with you guys. I didn't know Miss Carrie was still alive. Is it any way possible I could get a CD or an album from you?
Hmm.
So I messaged her. I said, so where are you from? And she said, I'm in San Francisco. And I'm like, oh, we got an interview tomorrow in San Francisco. And I told her the radio station. She says, I know where it is. Is it any way possible I can come meet you there? I'm like, sure. So we pulled up on the street, made the left, and she was doing like this in the middle of the street. She blocked off the cones at the front door of the radio station. She
What?
she helped me pull in. We got out the car. She introduced herself, took pictures with her in front of the radio station, and she said, do you mind if I come in? We said no, so we sat down with her and she said, I just came back from Europe and your mom's music is playing in all the clubs. And I just messaged all my friends that are DJs and I promised them that I want to send your mom's music to them. So
Wow.
she paid cash for 6 CDs right there.
Wow.
And she came in on the interview and I said, Mom, you gonna sing a song? So she sung Take a Moment a cappella at the radio station. And I
Wow.
looked at the young lady and she was crying. I'm like, you crying? And she said, you're so beautiful.
Wow.
So uh that's my mom's biggest fan. We did a show at another record store. She met us in the because we had to spend the night there because it was too far for us to come. She met us in the lobby, paid for our breakfast, took us to the store, and dropped us off. She comes to pretty much everything we do. I got to tell her. It's just the love of people have for my mom, man.
What?
That has me so honored to be.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What do you think has contributed to the renewed interest in her music?
From what we found out, it was always an interest. We weren't online. My mom signed a deal where she was on a collab with Gil Peterson. That's a guy out of Europe that does independent music.
Hmm.
He did an album. He actually was in the States. He comes up to my mom's house. I think he bought 10 copies of her album, and then he bought a couple of other copies of independent artists that my dad worked with. The guy Victor Leonard Green, had a 45. He paid a couple of $100 for a few of those. And he says, yeah, man, these will go good. So then next thing I know, he did a CD with my mom. Wanna Make Love to Me, right? Was on there.
Mhm.
Yeah, Make Love to Me was on the CD.
And
Uh,
other people was on there.
yeah, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm telling him, a collab. So we didn't know. I just happened to stumble across it because when I moved in to help my mom with my stepfather, I really couldn't. I wasn't of age because they're in a retirement community. So I mean, you could come visit, but legally I couldn't live here,
Mm.
being underage. So I was online a lot. That my phone was my best friend, and I just happened to Google how much is a Carrie Cleveland album worth, and on eBay the list just went crazy, and I started adding it up, and I ran I ran in my mom's room. I said, "Mom, it's over $25,000 worth of stuff on here," and she told
Wow.
me to shut up. She didn't want to hear it. So we just discovered this. And now, with me telling the story, more and more people have just come to love my mom's music, So I
Yeah.
even got Caden liking it. He was when he first heard it, he was like, interesting. And I'm like,
Interesting.
what? He said, your mom's
Yeah.
music is
He's 18
interesting.
years old, so he won't know any music from 40s or
Then
50s.
then an hour later, but he likes it. And then the girl that came to do the newspaper interview, her boyfriend dropped her off, and the cameraman was here, and the cameraman left. She asked could she stay. So she was here like 5, 6 hours. So we got to start talking, and I said, tell me this. First, I asked, how old was she? She says, I'm 24. And I'm like, how did you get to learn? And she laughed and she told us the story. She said she was in a club in San Francisco and they played Love Will Set You Free. And she was like, oh my God, who is that? So she said she ran trying to get to the DJ. She couldn't get to the DJ, so she pulled her phone up and did the Shazam app.
Yeah, that
And my
works.
mom's name and everything came up. So then this is how we got the interview. She just so happened her boyfriend shops at the record store that my mom was doing these record signing. And we went in there and put a poster up. And she said, Carrie's gonna be here. And the owner of the store said, yeah, hold on. He called me and he said, Heston, this young lady, Annie Vine, the entertainment section editor of the San Francisco Chronicle, wants to interview your mom. So
Mm.
that's how we met her.
Wow.
And if you do I guess you could say the demographics on my mom, her biggest listening audience is 30 to 42, I believe.
Huh.
And the music is older than all of them.
I what was the moment you realized the album Looking Up was selling for $450?
Okay,
Oh, let
that's
me
another
let me let
story.
me tell him that.
That's another
Uh,
story.
we had Heston had a friend. Um, he wanted what was? I'm sorry. Maybe you better tell him.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's my phone. Um, uh, we woke up. Okay, I woke up one morning and Beanie Babies were on my phone. A Beanie Baby has sold for $2,500,
Wow.
and I'm like, Mom. I mean, I could go in my room and pull out my drawer. My mom got hundreds of Beanie Babies. And I'm like, look, Mama, look. So we pulled them out and we were looking at the tags and seeing how much they were
Mm-hmm.
because they're untouched. They're in plastic. So, we did that for about 3 or 4 hours.
Mm.
And my mom said, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. So she went to bed and it was like a box of 50 albums behind her door. So I laughed. I Googled, I say, how much is an original copy of Carrie Cleveland's music? And it said, I looked down there and it said $450. I'm like, oh. And so I woke her up. Mama, look. Mom, you on my phone for me. And I'm like, wow. So it really shocked me. And that's what got the ball rolling. No, Mama, no, just bring it here. Um, so that's how it got started.
Hmm.
And that got the ball rolling.
Yeah, that
Uh
must be quite a shock to learn. Wow, $450, or the list of her music over thousands of dollars. I'd be going, whoa. But first thought would go to my mind is why, and the second thing would be like, let's buy it all and resell it for high price or something. you know, but that's awesome, Carrie. See, I told you, you're famous woman. Woohoo!
They had one girl was dancing to one of my songs, and she was all over the place, and we learned about her being on screen.
yeah, we didn't even know. Okay, YouTube, Carrie Cleveland, and it's under Northern Soul Girl Dancing. And the way we found out about that was the guy from a local newspaper, KQED. He came out and did the interview, and he says, "Okay, give me a couple of weeks, and I'll send you the link. I'll post it." So he sent the link, and I'm reading it, and it said people across the pond have fell in love with Carrie Cleveland's music. The young lady, Northern Soul Girl Dancing, 500,000 streams. And I'm like, what? So I run and go look for it.
Wow.
And she's dancing all over in Europe in different places to Love Will Set You Free. And
Amazing.
now it's about 800,000 views. And Love Will Set You Free has uh, audio video of over 100,000. And then there's another dance video, looks like about in the 50s, where they're in an old gym dancing. So they're dancing to that, and then it's got
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler and a whole bunch of artists from the 50s going across the screen.
Carrie,
You know,
your numbers on Spotify, Love Will Set You Free, is already 1 million streams, 1,380,945 to be exact. How do you feel about that?
Um, it's nice.
see, Chris, she don't understand. I be trying to tell her, but then people tell me that's a good thing that your
It is.
mom is innocent like that and doesn't realize it. Love Will Set You Free is by far her best, but Make Love to Me and I Need Love. All of a sudden, I Need Love is getting over 1,000 streams by itself a day.
229,000 streams.
Yeah, but
And
it just
about
started
21.
taking off.
Yeah, I know. It's wow.
Yeah,
Incredible.
yeah. And
Well,
she's on all platforms. She's even in the metaverse. We got a video in the metaverse.
hmm.
I had no idea. My friend says, "Oh yeah, I'll put your mom on the metaverse." And I guess that's like kind of AI animation. It's like in a lounge setting, a big lounge, and the video is up on a big screen TV on the wall, and you can see her.
Hmm. Yeah. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. So it's an honor and a privilege to be here talking to you.
Appreciate the
Thank-
opportunity to interview you, Carrie and Heston, and this is a treat for today. I love
Oh,
the
well,
treat.
thank you. It's a treat for
You're
us
welcome.
too.
So much to learn. It's probably like a whole week's worth that I have to come back. I have to keep having, like, we should meet again and just have another podcast over. Call it the Carrie Cleveland podcast. I'll change the name. Interesting. Wow, you're very interesting. A delight and inspiration.
Thank you.
I tell her, I'm glad you're telling her this because my mouth is tired. I
Yeah,
go, Mom.
your music is a rare gem. I love listening to it. I just love the album, and my favorite is like, yeah, Looking Up is one, and Love Will Set You Free. What an amazing song.
You know what's so funny though, that the record is so old now and it's still building. We still with the same songs. They change them a little bit, and we still doing well. That makes me feel good.
Yeah, amazing. Wow. And I feel you're so generous and so kind to spend 2 hours on this podcast with me. I feel so, it's the opportunity. It's just amazing. I just feel so blessed. So blessed.
Well, thank you.
And I can tell you this: my mom is still here in 2 hours. She's enjoying herself. She be got up and left
Yay.
by now.
Yay. I love it. In fact, I don't even want to edit this. I'm just going to post it the way it is. I'll call it unedited, unfiltered, unplugged Carrie Cleveland. And just post the whole thing, like all 2 hours. I love it. This everything comes out of your mouth, everything about your mom, your stories. I don't even want to touch this. I just want to post it and say, "Look, everyone, look how famous Carrie Cleveland is." Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Love it.
Thank you. And that's all I've been trying to do is to share our family love story, because that's what it basically is. That's the root, the meat and potatoes of the whole story. The music is just the icing on the cake,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah. Wow.
And then there's something else I like to do. I love to bake.
Oh yeah. What do you like to
Oh,
bake? Pumpkin pie.
I have
I'm
mostly
hungry now.
cookies, cake. Yeah, mostly I do a thing of the old-fashioned tea cakes. That's a lot of people like those. I was
Yeah.
getting so many orders, I had to kind of cool down with that. That got to be very
That's
hard.
a nice
hey,
hobby.
Chris,
What are
let me
the
tell you. Let me
Yeah.
tell you how that happened. The guy from my mom just happened to make some, and the guy from KQED comes in. Uh, he sits down, and my mom goes, "Would you like try some tea cakes?" And he was like, "No, no, no." So she said, "Here, no, no, try them." And he ate a couple, and he was like, "Wow." So when we got the article, not only did he talk about the video, he talked about the tea cakes.
Hmm.
So I had messaged Fox 2 News, it was a local. We were I'm born and raised in Oakland, and it's a Oakland news station. They came out, and my mom gave them tea cakes. So the tea cake story built, and then I started hashtag sharing Sunday, where every Sunday I post something that my mom made in the kitchen. So people start messaging us, send me some cookies. So we've sent them as far as New York with people ordering tea cakes.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it's something. Yeah.
That's
But
amazing.
hey, buddy, I think we better cut it. My mom is getting a little antsy here, I see.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
I
So
got to get ready
let
for
me end
Yeah,
it.
we got a funeral. We
Let
got
me
a
end it.
funeral.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me end it with this one question. What are your hopes for the future of your music? Like, what is the one advice you would give to up and coming Carrie Clevelands out there?
Oh, she looking at me.
I thought you were talking to me.
No, okay. Well, I'll say it. I've been saying it for a while. Never give up on your dreams. If you do, you stop living. We're 45 years in the making, and people are just now recognizing who we are.
Mm-hmm. Wow. God bless you. Well, Carrie, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and Heston and your journey through music from the early days, Oakland, to renewed appreciation of your work is truly inspiring. Your dedication, passion, and the timeless quality of your music continue to resonate with audiences old and new. Thank you for sharing your mom's story with us, Heston. Really appreciate that. I feel honored. We look forward to seeing what the future holds for you and your incredible legacy. And yeah, beautiful. Everyone, all our music and everything will be linked down below. Everything, all the information, and yeah, just I just really enjoyed this episode. Really loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Chris. Thank you, and I'll be in touch.
I hope to hear more about you and actually talk to you more. I really appreciate that. Thank you for reaching out.
Sure, no problem. You can tell I like to talk, so I have no problem.
Yeah, that's great. I can't wait to talk to you some more. Okay, nice to meet you, Carrie, and nice to
Nice
meet
meeting
you,
you.
Heston. You're
Nice
welcome,
meeting you, buddy.
and I'm sure that we'll be talking soon. Bye,
Yes,
everyone.
yes.
Thank you very much for.
Goodbye.
I gotta end this stream. See you, everyone.